Hello and welcome to the May edition of Simply Scuba Live. On this month's show, I'm going to be talking about everything fins. I know this is a fairly sort of mundane subject, but actually there's a lot more to fins than most people know. And of course, I'm going to do the usual sort of news and latest products in the scuba industry. So, hi guys, I'm Mark. I'll be your instructor, your presenter for today. And we've sort of moved things around in the shop, so you can see the background has kind of changed a little bit. Just having a bit more of a look at our store in Faversham. So first of all, we're going to have a look at the news. So, pardon me. So the May news. So first of all, oh no, sorry, that's the presentation we're going to be looking at later. Bear with me, let me go to the other one. May news. Okay, that looks a bit better. So first of all, for World Earth Day on June 8th, all of these sort of marine conservation societies, Product Aware, and the World Animal Protection, they're going to do a global ghost gear cleanup. So, so what you can do is you can click on this link that's down in the comments below, or you can go to worldanimalprotection.org/buddy up, and you can sign up to you and a buddy to go out near your local coastline and just clear up any sort of fouled fishing gear. Now, tons and tons and tons of this stuff gets trapped on reefs all around the world, and it traps unfortunate animals. So it keeps on catching stuff even after we've sort of done using it. So divers are in a unique position to actually go down into the water and collect this stuff. Obviously, be safe, bring redundant cutting equipment, lots of dive knives and cutting shears, and be careful. But yeah, if you go to that web address, you can sign up, and what they're doing is they're actually taking if you take a picture of all of the ghost gear that you've got, you can then post it on a map on their website. They're going to gather all of those images and all that information together. They're going to send it to all of the local governments and trying to get them to actually do something about the fishing industry and trying to clean up all of this stuff. It's really, really important, and it makes our lives safer as well. The less monofilament and the less netting that there is just floating around the ocean, the safer it is for us to go diving. So have a look at that. If you're free on June the 8th. It's actually a year-round thing, but of course, World Earth Day, they're trying to make it a bit more draw attention to it. So really good cause. If you got some time and a buddy, go clean up some ghost gear. Okay, on to new equipment. The first one I'm going to be talking about is the new Apeks WSX25 side mount rig. Now, this was announced last week. They kind of hinted at it a few months ago, like beginning of January, and they had this at DEMA in the States. And this is just a really, really low-profile wraparound side mount BCD. This is the way that a lot of side mount is going. It's more compact because once you've got your trim down, you don't need a lot of buoyancy. And this, what it does is it wraps around your body, and the whole bladder. It's kind of trapezoid shaped, so it wraps around in front of you and gives you like an all-round sort of bladder, as it were. You've got a movable low-pressure inflator hose, so you can either coming out from your left hip or from your right hip. You've also got a central dump as well. You've got a quick-release integrated weight system that just goes down the spine, just behind that the bladder, and all of it is custom size. It's a one-size-fits-all. It's all standard 2-inch webbing. The material on it is the same thing they use for their public service equipment. Apeks made a lot of military equipment, so they know how to make tough stuff. And everything that they've made this season, all their new stuff, their Lifeline reels, their RK3 fins, the new rockets, they're really, really popular. So I'm really interested to see this. These are coming in very limited numbers. There's only a handful coming to the UK. Simply Scuba, we've been lucky enough to actually get hold of the majority of the first ones that actually come into the country. Really, really nice. Perfect for travel or for British diving. We all know that I love Sidemount. It's so much more flexible, and it's a lot safer for a lot of divers. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I don't actually have an estimated date of arrival. All I really know is that it's any day now. We've got our order in place, so as soon as they're ready, if you go on the website, the link is down below. Click on that. There'll be a notify me button. Click on that. You can enter your email address. As soon as Ben in the warehouse scans that, you'll get an email, and that way you know that right now you can order one. If you go for our next day delivery, you can have it the next day if you order it by 3. Really, really nice. Keep an eye on that one. I've got my name on one. It looks really, really nice. The next new piece of kit actually turned up on my desk about 2 hours ago. This is the Scubapro Mantis dive computer. If you're familiar with Scubapro or Galileo computers, really, the Sol uses a heart rate monitor that you wear during your dive, and that actually uses your heart rate and your workload to adjust your decompression algorithm. A lot of computers, they have an input algorithm, and they just use the timer and the pressure sensor just to work out how fast you're on gassing and how quickly you're off gassing, and they just give your dive profile from that, no decompression limits. What the Mantis does, and this is the only watch-sized computer at the moment that does it, is it wirelessly connects to a heart rate monitor that connects around your chest, and that actually tailors your decompression algorithm to how hard you're working. If I'm out in the Caribbean, I'm only wearing a rash vest and some board shorts. It's nice warm water. It's nice and easy diving. My metabolism is going to be running at a much different speed to if I'm in a heavy dry suit in the north of England. I'm lugging 2 stages around. I've got all this weight. No, I'm going to be working harder. I'm going to be more susceptible to decompression illness. So that's what this is designed for. It gives you a tailor-made decompression algorithm. It's really smart. These pictures are from Scubapro, but I've actually got one in front of me. I'll show you at the end of the news section. It's a nice, tidy sort of watch-sized computer. Yeah, really, really nice attention to detail, nice craftsmanship, and really good, easy to use, easy to see digits. In the center here, we've got the typical dive screen. Nice, fairly obvious, and user-friendly. Another one, we've resurrected the Scubapro Jet Fin. These are the sort of golden standard fins. These came from the original like Bochat jet fins. Scubapro bought the rights to the sort of vented design, and these have been around since like 1960s, 70s sort of era, and they haven't changed really because they haven't really needed to. The only thing they've done with these jet fins is they've added the spring heel section, which is coated in a nylon sort of webbing. Really, really tough fins. They're fairly short, as it were, so they're good in confined spaces. A lot of advanced divers like to use these. My friend Jeff, who's a commercial diver, he always uses this sort of style of fin just because it can keep up with him, and they're tough as nails, and you move through the water. Spring heel straps, they make your life on the boat or on the dive decks that much easier because you don't have to adjust rubber straps. The springs also adjust themselves to shrinkage under pressure. As you go underwater, your dry suit starts to shrink. So the spring heels, they automatically adjust themselves, hold your feet in the fin. Really, really nice, tough fins. I'll be talking about vented fins later in the presentation. We've just created or sort of recreated, we've redesigned our Simply Scuba mask strap. These slap straps or strap wrappers, really nice. Used to sell them all day. They're really, really useful. I've got one on my own mask. They're really good quality. You can see around the edges, all of this, the edging of the 2 bits of neoprene, that's actually elasticated, and it's really double stitched, velcroed section on the inside, really nice, supple neoprene, very good. And I can't really say it as gospel, but I was using my Hollis M4 mask in the swimming pool this weekend. Took my mask off, just kind of left it in the water, and my mask was floating because of that neoprene slap strap. Now, obviously, this isn't going to work for every mask. I can't genuinely say it will definitely work for the Hollis M4 mask in all conditions. I'm just saying that it did make a big difference, and it actually floated on the surface. So, yeah, if you drop your mask, it's not going to just plummet down to the abyss that quickly. It's got this added bit of buoyancy. Really smart design, decent price, and we're doing it at with free delivery at the moment. Yeah, really nice slap strap. Have a look at them. We're looking at a new service. We started assembling regulators and giving you a free regulator logbook. So whenever we assemble, if you buy a set of regulators from us, if you go for the regulator assembly option, we assemble your regulators, we test it on the test bench, make sure it's working, we write down all of the serial numbers and everything you need to know about your regulators, along with some useful hints and tips, and that all goes in your regulator service manual. A lot of people, they were asking about sort of Apeks regs and certain Scubapro regulators. The second stages can be reversible. So it's like with the XGX range, you can have the hose so that the hose comes out of the right-hand side of the regulator, as it's in your mouth. That's the standard. That's how pretty well all second stages come from the manufacturers. Or you can have it coming out of the left side of the regulator. Now that's much more useful for donating if you have your alternate, your octopus, on your right-hand side, as opposed to creating like an S shape when you're face-to-face with your buddy. If the hose is coming out of the left-hand side of the regulator, it just gives it a nice open sort of hose routing. It's much safer, and you're much less likely to pull that second stage out of your buddy's mouth if you're trying to breathe. So we're looking at rolling things out soon. It's a matter of you can't just do it yourself. There's a lot of internal work and adjusting that you need to do. So it needs to be done by a Apeks or a Scubapro technician, depending on the second stage. I'm qualified to do it. We're just training up some more people, some of the other technicians, just so that they can do it, a bit more redundancy. So keep an eye out. If you want your second stages swapped over before we send them out to you, keep an eye out on that. We're also getting a good range of Ocean Reef full face masks and relevant accessories. Now these I've used before. I used the slightly older Neptune 2 full face mask. These are really great for cold water diving. If anyone's sort of dived in the UK along the winter months, as I have, you go for the dive and you get the initial shock of, yeah, it's kind of cold in the water. You go for the dive and you kind of feel fine. You get back up and then your face tends to be a bit numb. Your lips don't really work. You can't really talk. You're not that understandable. But full face masks, they eliminate all of that. Because the second stage is built into the mask never fogs up either, because it's always fresh air circulating through. If any water gets into the mask, there's a purge valve, a one-way purge valve at the bottom, and you have two built-in. If you have a look at the bottom, sort of either side of the main second stage, you have two ports, and these can be turned into surface valves or communication valves. There's for microphones and whatnot. There's a huge amount of sort of adjustability and customizability with these masks. Really useful, really practical. I'm starting to see them more and more. I saw a few out in Egypt the last time I was there, and you're seeing more and more in the UK. Just if you you don't want to get sort of cruddy water around your face as well, in your nose and your mouth and whatnot. The full face mask covers your entire face, keeps your face dry, keeps it warm, and you can breathe in through your mouth or your nose. A lot of people prefer that. I quite like the fact that you can talk. It's you can actually talk more sort of understandably underwater. If you're sort of right next to your buddy, you can talk underwater through the masks. Even better if you've got the communications, because then you've got underwater radios and microphones, so you can talk to one another. We're going to be getting them in, and yeah, really nice sort of masks. You've got the Neptune Space G Diver, and then we've got the Neptune Space Raptor, which is the black one on the right hand side. The Raptor is the sort of nitrox version. It's got all sorts of the vitrile O-rings. It's the oxygen clean version. It's better for nitrox. The Neptune Space, on the other hand, comes in 4 different colors. We've got the nice standard blue. We've got more of a teal, sort of turquoisey color, the white, and then a girl's pink, which I haven't got pictures because I couldn't find a decent version of it. Really nice. Have a look at them. The link's down below. Click on them. Again, as they come up on the website, there will be a notify me section. Add your email into that notify me section, and you'll get an email as soon as they're scanned in. About a week or so ago, Suunto announced a new 5-year free warranty on all their computers and transmitters. Now, let's start the story from the front. So you have on your dive computer, straight out of the box, as soon as you bought it, you have a 2-year warranty on that computer, and that covers all the usual bits and bobs, and that is only valid in the UK. What Suunto were finding was that a lot of people are buying it from abroad and then assuming that they still have that UK warranty, but they don't, because Suunto UK is very different from Suunto Europe. So so to add a bit more value and to give you guys more coverage, as soon as you buy your Suunto dive computer or your wireless transmitter, you can either do it in the shop or you can do it as soon as you receive the computer. You can register on suuntodive.uk. It's free. It only takes a couple minutes. All you need is your usual sort of details, your email address, your name, and whatnot. And then you can register your dive computer for free. You just enter the serial number, what type of dive computer it is, where you bought it, and how much you bought it for, and that automatically upgrades your 2-year warranty to a 5-year warranty. So that more than doubles your warranty. That way, if anything goes wrong with your dive computer, you can bring it back to a Suunto service center, and they can have a look at it, either repair it or replace it. So so that's really useful. Yeah, you've only got 30 days after your purchase date to do that. So it's best to get it out of the way first. And yeah, that's really nice of Suunto just to extend that sort of that 2-year to a 5-year warranty. Oceanic still have their free transmitter deal on their OCI. Or Oceanic, they brought out the blackout version, which is this sort of matte black OCI, which I think looks really smart. Right now, you're getting a free transmitter with it, so you're saving yourself about 250 quid. Really nice dive computer. The OCI comes with Oceanic's lifetime warranty, so if you get it serviced once a year by an Oceanic service center, you'll get a free battery kit. So you'll only pay for the labor. Different dive centers will charge different amounts, so I can't say sort of how much labor will cost you, but the battery kit you get free, and that includes the O-ring. So yeah, that's always good to get it serviced once a year, because it's only going to run out when you're actually on the dive. So if you're getting it changed once a year, you know you're going to be fine. Intova have extended, if you remember from last month's show, they introduced the camera packages on the Edgex and the Nova HD sort of sports cameras. They've emailed me, I think it was this morning, and they said that they're going to extend it to to the end of June as well. So so whenever you buy an Edgex, you're getting the micro 32GB SD cards. You're getting a universal mask mount and a green neoprene bag just to keep your camera safe. All the accessories are free. All you do is you pay for the camera. Similar deal on the Nova HD. You're getting a 16GB micro SD card. You're getting that neoprene purple bag. You're getting a floaty wrist strap, and you're also getting a free color kit, which involves those 4 colored rings that just goes in the front of the camera. That way, if you've got more than one, you can personalize it so you know whose is whose. Really great deal, and they're extending that to the end of June. So if you're going abroad, really good quality video and cameras. Nice stills on that. So yeah, have a look at them. They're really nice sort of small action cameras. A couple others. You got the Suunto free transmitter. This is going on again until I believe it's the end of June. It might even be to July, thinking about it. Don't know the date off the top of my head, but you're still getting a free transmitter with your with the Viper Air and the Helo 2. The Viper Air is your sort of advanced recreational diver, mixed gas diver. Your Helo 2 is your technical diver computer with trimix capabilities. The one thing I will say about this is that if you're going to order one, please remember to scroll down to the bottom of the page, because the system doesn't automatically add that free transmitter. We do call you up if you just click add to basket. You're only adding the computer to the basket. That doesn't tell our warehouse that you want the free transmitter. So what they do is they put it on hold and they call customer services. Customer services will then give you a phone call and just say, you're entitled to a free transmitter. Do you still want it? And you say yes, obviously. And then they have to add that to the order. So so yeah, they're really good computers. Free transmitters, similar to the OCI, but these are larger sort of wrist top computers. Really good deal on at the moment. The next one, this is just a blank slide so I can sort of organize my thoughts. We've got the Scubapro Everdry 4 dry suit. You're still having the free Climasphere undersuit, and that runs out this weekend. So if you want a dry suit, have a look on our website. We've got most of the sizes in stock. It's really popular, so they're selling out so quick, and we're trying to restock, keep a constant stock, but you keep buying them far too quick. It's a really popular dry suit. So yeah, have a look at them. Runs out this weekend. After that, you don't get that free undersuit. Okay, and that's the end of the May news. So I'm going to answer a few questions. If you have any questions, you can either put them in the comments section. I believe it's on that side. It keeps moving. You can use the Twitter. You can hashtag Scuba Live, and all the Facebook and any social media feeds. Just post any questions you got. Even if you just want to chat, say anything about the show, just use that hashtag Scuba Live, and that will get through to us. So I've got a few questions. The first one is from Tom. He's asked via email. He says, "Hi there, my name is Tom. I'm looking to buy a wing BCD as I'm moving into diving with twin sets. And just wondering, would you suggest looking any, and what you would suggest, sorry. Looking any help would be great." So if you're moving on to twins, I'd avoid looking at BCDs. BCDs as general, as you know, they're more designed for single setups. There are a lot that do twins, like the Apeks Black Ice. It starts off as a single cylinder setup, but then you can buy the twin set, sort of strap set that adds a second cam band and various bits to attach it, and then you can attach 2 cylinders, twins, onto the back of your Black Ice. If you're going down that route, I'd strongly suggest looking at backplate wing harness, because that's the way you're going to be going. Yeah, there are so many people online. They've gone through. I did it myself. You start off with BCDs, and you buy them, and then you find that you like outgrow them as such. If you talk to any like technical divers, they'll just say, oh, just buy either a side mount rig if you go in side mount, or just take the plunge, buy a back plate, a wing, and a harness. They're modular. They're a lot more secure on your back. With BCDs, when you go from a back plate and wing back to a BCD, you find that that cylinder, it doesn't feel as secure as it did on your back plate, because they're normally sort of held on with a sort of plastic back plate, and you have a single cam band, which is a nylon cam band that you just clamp down, and then you do tend to get a bit of sort of movement in that cylinder. It's not dangerous movement. I used to teach using sort of single stages all the time, but when you move on to twin sets, you've got your stainless steel or your alley back plates. In this country, you tend to use stainless steel. You've got your twin sets that have twin cam bands, and they are bolted on to your back plate through your wing, your donut wing or your horseshoe wing, and that is a single unit. That's not moving at all. And then you can use your own webbing harness. You can either go for something like a solo harness, it's just a single piece of webbing that goes all the way around. You can adjust it to yourself, or you can use a more like half and half harness, like a like Hollis Elite 2 or some of the Scubapro X Tech. It's got more padded shoulder pads, more sort of padded back plates and whatnot. So it's a back plate and wing, but it's closer. It's still fairly close to the comfort of a more traditional BCD. Back plate and wings, they're modular. So if you change from a smaller, I dived on a twin 300 bar cinders for a couple seasons. If you then bump up to like heavier 12s or something, then you can change the wing. It's all modular. You just unbolt it, bolt the new ones back on. It's much more modular, much more customizable than more just a BCD. BCDs are designed for sort of one function. They can be fairly multifunction, but they have their limitations. Tom, have a look at backplate wings and harness systems. Another Tom, different Tom, writes on Discuss. Is there any reason why this dry suit, the waterproof D9 dry suit, can't be used in colder climates with layering underneath? He mostly dives in 18 to 24 degrees water with a lot of travel, so that's why he's looking at the D9. The D9 is a very, very lightweight waterproof dry suit. It's made more for the traveling diver. It makes more sense than buying a thick. It's a lot lighter. It's I can't remember. I think it's less than 2 kilograms for a dry suit. It's very light. It's very light for a wetsuit. So that's why they made it. But now and then I dive in Scotland, and he has a trip to Iceland later this year. Very nice. They've sacrificed the sort of thickness of the material for lightness. The D9 is designed for lightweight travel. It's a matter of, it will do it. It'll work like any other dry suit. If you put enough undersuit underneath it, it's going to keep you dry. Your undersuit is going to keep you warm. That's how membrane dry suits work. It's the undersuit that's keeping you warm. It's just not quite as tough as your like your D7. The D7 has a really nice tough outer shell. So if it's just open water blue diving and you're not going to be anywhere too nasty, there's no problem with using the D9. It's still going to keep you dry. It's still going to keep you warm if you use enough undersuit. But just be careful around the sort of rough and tumble of sort of British diving and Iceland diving. You don't want to get too close to wrecks or reefs and whatnot. So it will do the job. Just be careful with it. It's a bit more fragile than your more traditional dry suit. Maggie via email says, "Hi, can one use the Mares Prestige 12S She Dives regulator with recreational nitrox?" Yes. Most of the regulators, I think all of the regulators that we sell on our website, they come out of the factory O2 clean to 40%. So 40% is the sort of recreational nitrox limit. So all regulators, the Mara's Prestige 12S, yes, they will be sort of nitrox clean up to 40%. So so yes, you can use them with nitrox. One more question. I'm going to answer. Ty's Rosema. Are there any specific BCDs you would recommend for beginner divers? There are a few. The first one I would look at is the Aqualung Pro HD BCD. It's a nice jacket style BCD, which would be similar to what you used when you did your sort of open water or your beginner scuba course. It has integrated weights. It's made out of really tough material, so it's going to keep up with lots of diving. But the material they've used is actually a, I forget what they call it, but it keeps its color for much, much longer. A lot of BCDs, when you take them abroad, if you leave them in the sun for whatever reason, that black starts to turn into kind of like a brown. And any like chlorine in swimming pool and salt water as well starts to degrade the color. This, I can't remember, it's some kind of Duratex material, I forget what it's called. But it's really, really good, nice and tough. Fully features, it's got a nice sort of pool dump, low pressure inflator, standard low pressure inflator. You've got all the dump valves you need, all the pocket space that you need. Yeah, Aqualung Pro HD, or you can have a look at something like the Scubapro X1. That is, I used to use them when I was teaching. They've upgraded them now to have an optional integrated weight system. So if you don't want to jump straight into integrated weights, you can wear it just as a traditional sort of jacket style BCD. And then in the future, you can upgrade to have integrated weights. So yeah, they're nice and tough. I had the BCDs for a good 2-3 years when I was teaching in the pool. They were used day in, day out, a few times a day, 7 days a week, and yeah, they're still going strong. So yeah, 2 really good BCDs. Have a look at those 2. So it's just gone 1/2 past. So I'm going to start my second presentation. Let me just make sure it's ready. And I'm going to be talking about fins. Now, yeah, as I said earlier, I know I don't want to teach. I don't want to sort of teach you guys to suck eggs. Everyone knows fins, but there's a lot more to fins, and a lot of sort of confusion. Most people tend to ask the pros and cons of split fins versus your more traditional paddle fins. So I just thought I'd just do a nice presentation just on fins. Robin in marketing suggested I call it Everything Fins. So we're calling it Everything Fins. So fins, they started, the first sort of recorded sort of inkling of idea of fins actually dates back to sort of the Da Vinci era. He's got this sort of webbed glove design here, which a lot of swim manufacturers are coming with sort of webbed gloves for training aids. The next sort of real documented case was what was his name? Benjamin Franklin. He in one of his sort of books or somewhere in his notes, he wrote about when he was about 11 years old. He designed these gloves that basically use wooden pallets. They were like 10 inches long and 6 inches wide, strapped to his hands, and he used them to swim faster in the water. He realized that put a lot of strain on his wrists, so then he ended up turning them into like sandals and then wearing them on his feet. And that helped him propel through the water. So that was the sort of first documented case of sort of proper fins. And then it sort of rolls on to like the First World War. And in 1914, a French naval officer, he developed a rubber fin to be used for for underwater sort of swimming, just as a just to make the sort of Navy divers swim faster. He then, let me try and remember the facts. Basically, a guy in America, Churchill, about the same time, working with this French naval officer, after the war, towards the 1930s, 1940s, he had been traveling around Tonga, I believe, and he noticed that the locals would actually weave together palm fronds, dip them in hot tar, and then strap them to their feet before they went swimming. And he then took this idea and created a more sort of traditional sort of swim fin, rubberized swim fin, and that's where our sort of swimming fins came from. And then on from that, there have been a lot of progresses through the years. After the Second World War, during the Second World War, Dunlop actually rubber products. They actually started producing these kind of rubberized fins from Churchill's designs. And after the war, they made it for the frogmen and the sort of Navy divers. After the war ended, there was still a demand for them from the recreational market, but they didn't see that there was any points, so they stopped making them. So then other manufacturers caught on board, manufacturers like Cressy, and they created the Rondine sort of fin, and then it's just snowballed from there. Especially in the last sort of 2 decades, technology's really evolved. So fin types, there are so many different fin types. I put the basic 6 up here. I know there are more, but I'm just going to talk about these basic ones to start with. On the left-hand side, you have the paddle fin. So this is where it really started. It's just a traditional foot pocket that then connects to a flat blade or paddle that just goes straight out. No bells or whistles. This is literally just like an oar. It forces you through the water. It's not quite as efficient as it can be, because a lot of the water can spill over the sides, and there's a lot of sort of wasted drag area towards the tip of the foot pocket. And I'm going to talk about that a bit later. Second in is the split fins. Split fins, they really started back in the early 90s, and the way they work is you have 2 solid ribs on either side, and then the main blade is cut straight down the middle for a majority of the fin. And how that works is on each stroke, on the upstroke and the downstroke, the 2 sides, they turn with the stroke, and they create a vortex behind you, which acts a bit like a boat propeller. They took a lot of the design from marine mammals. They noticed that a lot of their fins were separated into 2 sections, and they just developed it from there. They called it nature's wing, and most of the split fins out in the market will use that nature's wing. One of the fairly newest types of fins that come out is the hinge design. This is where you have a separated foot pocket to main blade. And what these do is they use sort of elastic energy to bend the main propulsion blade area to angle that at a very efficient angle of attack. And this is basically, you don't want to be pushing yourself up or down in the water. You want to be pushing yourself forward. So so what these are doing is they're creating a semi-flexible hinge that always creates a very effective angle of attack. Then we have the vented design. These are the more traditional style. We see these come in. These came in around the sort of 60s, 70s era. These eliminate the drag area just in front of the toe pocket. That drag area was noticed by Bochat, and he created these sort of vented areas just to get rid of that drag, allow water to flow through, and create a more effective kick. Then we have your more commonplace, the channel fins. Channel fins use 2 or 3 different materials that bend at different amounts to create a kind of scooped U shape, and they channel the water all into that scoop and then just force it forwards. And then on the far side we have freediving fins. Freediving fins are very long. They use they're much stiffer, or you have different stiffnesses, but traditionally they're more stiffer than scuba fins. and therefore energy conservation, but they're not very good at turning. They're very good for straight line speeds and energy conservation. So with fins, obviously, most of you already know, but you get full foot fins and open heel fins. Now, full foot fins are great for your lightweight travel to warm areas. Full foot fins, you wear them barefoot, or you can use some sort of snorkeling socks. But if you're diving in cold water, you want to avoid full foot fins. They're much lighter than open heels. They tend to be a bit smaller as well because they're more designed for lightweight travel snorkelers. Whereas your open heel fins, they're much stronger. They're much more adjustable because you have the adjustable heel straps on the back. You have to wear, or with most scuba fins, you have to wear boots, neoprene boots. So that's adding your neoprene, your thermal protection, or you can wear your dry suit boots. So I'd say for lightweight travel, just happy snorkeling or very, very light diving, you can go down the full foot route, but everything else, go for open heel. Whenever I travel, I wear my open heel fins. They're so much easier to get on, and the weight isn't that much of an issue. You're talking about ½ a kilo maybe in most cases. Then you've got heel straps. So heel straps come in sort of 3 main different styles. The traditional rubber heel strap, the adjustable heel strap on the right. This you'll get with most fins, and very, very simple. You have 2 ratchet fin straps, one on either side, and you just pull them when you got your boot in the pocket to the length that you want. Now these are great, they do the job, but it can be fiddly when you've got cylinder on your back, your boat is tipping and yawing. It's a pain because you need both hands, and you realize how far away your feet are. You're very top heavy with your cylinder on your back. It's just a hassle. So in came the spring straps and the bungee straps. Now these came in a few years ago. Now they're coming as standard with a lot of fins. And the spring heels, stainless steel springs. As I said earlier, they adjust themselves. As you can see on the back, they've got a nice large sort of D loop. Makes putting them on so much easier. All you need is a single finger, put your fin in, lift it up, pull it over your heel, and you're ready to go diving. There's no adjusting straps. The same as getting them off. You don't have to unclip them or undo the ratchet. You just pull them off your heel. Same thing with the bungee. This uses more of a tough surgical tubing. So with these, you can adjust them a bit better. Spring heel straps, they're normally a given length. You get small, medium, or large. Bungee straps, you still get those small, medium, large, but on the inside you can sort of tighten the bungee, make it a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, so you've got a bit more customizability there. So most fins nowadays, they come with an angled blade. Now this makes for more efficient finning through the water, but walking around a bit harder because that fin is pointing downwards. If you sat down right now, point your foot as far sort of down as you can, as if you're in the finning position, and that's going to give that sort of 27-degree angle. It's not, your heel isn't completely parallel with the floor. So so a lot of fins, they have this angled design. As I mentioned earlier, that angle of attack, it gives you a more efficient diving angle for your fin. These images are from Tusa. Most of their fins, they use this angled blade design. Very, very efficient. It just makes it more comfortable in the water. You're not constantly adjusting your buoyancy because you're going up or you're going down. As you're finning, you're going nice and straight. So a lot of fins have these angled blades. So paddle fins, yeah, as I said earlier, paddle fins are these sort of golden standards. They do the job, but they're fairly labor intensive. You have a lot of sort of drag just in front of the foot pocket. The blade is literally just forcing yourself through the water. They're normally a bit stiffer. As you can see at the bottom of this fin, they've started to scallop it a little bit. Just increases the efficiency of the fin kick. So, so this is where they really started. Moving on to the split fins. So here we have some diagrams from Oceanic and from Atomic. They're split fins. They you can see here how the two sides, some people call them the leaves, the two sides of the blades, they buckle as you go through the water, and they create a vortex that pushes straight behind you, propelling you forwards. Now, there is so much debate on which is more efficient, a more traditional blade or split fins. No one has actually come to a definitive conclusion. Some people love them, some people hate them. They were really popular a couple of years ago. The popularity is starting to drop now, but these are really good for people with knee or ankle problems because they don't use as much energy. They're good with flutter kicks, but not so good with the frog kicks because the blades aren't meant to go sideways. They're meant for an up and down sort of stroke. But if you the best way, I forget the chap's name, but the way he described it was people with a traditional blade do few strong kicks, whereas split fins do frequent gentle kicks, and you're both going at the same rate. So you're finning a lot more, just not as hard with the split fins, because there's less effort required with these. So if you have knee, ankle, or sort of any kind of leg problems, split fins are a really good way to go. Channel fins, these are the ones they use dual material or sometimes even tri-material blades. What these do is as you force it down in your downstroke and then again in your upstroke, they turn the blades cross-section into a U, and that just channels the water and then forces it all out in one direction. So nothing is spilling over the side, there's no wastage, it's always going behind you. But again, as with the paddle fins, you're still getting a bit of dead space just in front of the toes. In comes the vented fins. The vented fins, they eliminate that drag on the downstroke and on the upstroke. And again, you can see on these are the RK3s, the new ones from Apeks. These are creating a bit of channeling just to sort of angle the water and just push them in the right direction. Now, vented fins are same as the channeling fins. They're good for flutter kick, your scissor kick, and they're also good for your frog kick and your helicopter turns. So your more technical divers and cave divers, they prefer these. Vented fins tend to be a bit shorter as well, so they're nicer in compact space. And then you get the hinge fins. The hinge fins are the new design on the block. Most famous, made by the Scubapro, the Nova wing. These have created or actually they've won awards for their design. I've used them in the pool. They feel, the best way I'll describe it is they feel very floppy, but you move through the water. They are very, very effective. In the diagram on the left, you can see the drag area there. So that's all eliminated. There's no drag area on this. And then on the right-hand side, you can see this angle of attack. So this is how they bend. Now the hinge area, they've reinforced that since they first came out. There was a lot of debates and a lot of people saying that their Seawing Novas were breaking. That's not an issue anymore. Scubapro have had 2 generations of Seawing Nova come out since then, and they're stronger than ever. And you should see the test that these fins go through before they go out to the market. So these are really, really great. They're just using more and more technology just to learn how fins work more efficiently. And then bring on the natural designs and the future of fins. So on the right, you can see a Speedo, I think this is called a Nemesis fin. This is just a swim fin, but you can see it's using the scalloped edges, which are the same. They're looking at nature. They said, okay, these humpback whales, they have had millions and millions of years to evolve, and they have these scalloped edges on their pectoral fins. Now, why is that? With tests, they actually found that it's more efficient when moving through water and even moving through air to have these kind of scalloped edges. So they're starting to use that kind of technology. In comes the Mars Extreme fin. Now these are real true hybrid fin. These are using hinge technology. They've got vented blades, and they also have a channeling system, a dual material as well. So Mars have looked at all of the pros and cons of all the different styles of fins and just kind of mashed them all together for this ultra lightweight, really efficient. I've used these as well. Same as the Sea Wing Nova. They're really, they feel a bit floppy, but you're moving through the water. Very, very efficient fins, and they're light as a feather, so they're really great for traveling. So, so yeah, I can see a lot more of more natural designs towards sort of marine mammals and aquatic fish. They're going to start using their sort of physiology to better improve our fins as well. They're actually looking to, on wind farms, you know, the big turbines, they're actually looking to use scalloped edges on those blades because it just makes it more efficient. So yeah, we're looking at nature and we're going, huh, that's a really good idea, and we use that, and funnily enough, it works. Very, very clever stuff. And that's the end of the presentation. So any questions on fins, any questions at all, remember that hashtag Scuba Live, put it on Twitter, put it in the comments section. I think it's on that side, I can never remember. I've got some time for a couple questions, and that's it for the March show. So Harvey Cole says, hi, I have an old Uatech Smart Pro. Can you recommend a similar computer to replace it with? I like the screen size on the one I have. So Uatech Smart Pro, I'd go for, you can look at something like an Oceanic VO3. It's a it's a Nitrox compatible computer. Nice user interface, nice big digits. You've got that lifetime warranty as well. Other than that, you can look at a lot of the Suunto, the larger ones, the Viper Air. Very, very nice computer, nice user interface, nice big digits. But for Oceanic, for the money, you get a lot of dive computer. You've got your dual algorithms. So if you're diving with a buddy who's using a DSAT algorithm, or if you're diving with a buddy who's using more of an RGBM, you can pick and choose which algorithm, and that way you'll be able to use the same dive profile. So, so yeah, have a look at the Oceanic VO3. Very, very nice dive computer. They're not expensive in any way when you compare them to the rest of the market, and you have that Oceanic lifetime warranty. So, so yeah, have a look at them. Adam asks, any underwater photographers out there at Simply Scuba? What open heel fins would you recommend for the traveling photographer? My friend Graham, he's big into his photography. He's got big sort of SLR setup, and he just tends to use I think he's got Mara's Avanti Quattro fins off the top of my head. You want something fairly compact because you're fairly focused on what's going on. You want a more of a paddle style fin because you'll be turning on the spot, and a lot easier to back fin as well. So yeah, just have a look at something like a Tusa Solar fin. They're fairly lightweight. Or you can either go for something like a Hollis F2. They're designed for travel. They're tough as nails. They're kind of a vented blade design. Yeah, there's lots of blades out there, but try and avoid your split fins because you can't turn with split fins, and you can't back fin with fins as well. You're very, very dependent on your legs and your feet when you're using dive computer because you're holding on to your rig. Dan Coleman asks, any recommendations for a first dive torch that's going to last? Dan, have a look at the Scubapro Nova 700. For the money, you get, there's two different versions. There's the 700 and 700R. They're both made out of anodized aluminium. So they're very, very lightweight, and they won't rust because aluminium doesn't rust. It hasn't got any iron content. 700 lumens of power. And you can either get it in the rechargeable R version, which you need to buy an 18650 rechargeable battery, or you can go for the larger version, just the 700, and that uses 3 C cells. I could be wrong. They just use traditional sort of C or D size batteries, but they both pump out 700 lumens. Nice small handheld torches, really nice and powerful. Also have a look at the Mara's EOS range. They brought out 4 new torches, the 4RZ, 7RZ, 12. I think there's another, there might be a 2, I forget the numbers. But these are rechargeable. They come with the batteries. They have a zoom function as well. So as you turn them on, so the 12RZ pumps out 1200 lumens, and you can either turn it into a sort of fine focus beam, or you can unscrew it into a nice wide sort of even beam for your just wide angle shots. So have a look at those two. They're really my sort of top picks right now. For the money, you're getting a lot of torch for your buck. Yeah, really nice torches. They're both anodized aluminium. Yeah, really small, powerful, lightweight torches. And that's all the questions I have today. So as usual, safe diving's out there, guys. Thanks for watching. Any questions you want me to answer in next month's show, use that hashtag Scuba Live, and we'll get them ready for next month, sorry. Or just any questions about the show. If you want me to talk about anything specific or anything different, hashtag Scuba Live, and we'll see what we can do. I'm still going on sort of what I want to talk about. If you guys want me to talk about anything else, let us know. I'm happy to talk about whatever you want to know about the scuba diving industry. Thanks for watching. Safe diving out there. The weather is getting nice and warm. The sun's coming out, so it's going to be much nicer in the British dive sites. So yeah, it's really the beginning of the dive season. So that's it for the May edition of Simply Scuba Live. Thank you so much for watching, and safe diving.